Morning everybody, and welcome to another Sunday Q&A, now in handy size A5 bits of paper, because I can never work out whether to transfer, you write them in the van and you've got to remember to bring them out of the van, and this one fits in the driver's bag. So, what we got this week? Right, first of all, I want to do a shout out to a guy who's just appeared on the channel. His guy is called The Gardening Channel with Ray, and he's got, he does like little Courier drive thing. He said, I found your channel from looking at things from scraps. He's actually got his own gardening channel. It's largely about growing things like, seeds from scratch, what to plant in October, what to plant in November, up the allotment with the daughter. It's a good little channel. It's doing all right there. He's got a couple of thousand subscribers. So if anyone's into gardening, propagating, stuff like that, please give him a look out. He seems like a nice guy. And also on the flip side of things, Ray, any tips on scarification? I've torn my lawn to pieces. I'm assuming it's going to come back at some stage. Anyway, that's not really his thing. He's more of a grower. I'm more of a demolition. I break things. Right, what we got? He said he jumped in the van during lockdown. He says he's sceptical he can do it in alone. Well, Ray, you're not alone. There's me, and there's the other thousands out there who are more than happy, I'm sure, to come to your rescue. Any problems, you know where we are. Another one, just a quick shout out at the beginning as well. Longfinger, he said thanks very much for the video. I hope it sort of helped, he said if the CX aren't paying you, they should. They have a marketing budget. Let's make it official. Mate, it would be nice. On the plus side of things, the mob at BCD sold 3 more policies, so if you sign up with me and you mention my name, thank you very much. 150 quid, 50 quid a pop, it's not so bad. And of course there was the video on the t-shirts, the Last Exit to Nowhere t-shirt. I'll be honest with you, I put the video out there. I'm hoping the Last Exit to Nowhere guys notice it. This one here today, Thorn. See, if they're a bit, Thorn, that's a bit, who's called Thorn? Damien Thorn. Well, Damien, big clue there, isn't there? But you kind of think maybe one day they'll go, oh, look, there's a guy making videos showing our t-shirts, so let's send him some free t-shirts. As I say, I'm not that altruistic. I am and I'm not, but I'll hopefully clear things up on that one. Right, what have we done this week? Van versus Lorry. Bootnik. Oh yeah, thanks very much for the heads up on that one. See, it's not all about you guys. I know it isn't, because thanks very much for all the advice you give me, and I was curious to know which way to go with the 18 tonne if I ever get into it. Although now the lockdown's coming again, of course all the test centres are shut. It's going to be at least another month before I can even take my test. But Bootneck reckons, he says Mercs are best. I've got to be honest, when I had the Sprinter, I did used to like a Merc, and they're very clever. They know where to put the cup holders, and they do feel solid, although they weigh more apparently. My mechanic turns around and says the thing with Mercedes is they say, why use 1 bolt when you can use 6? Makes the truck heavier. But he said DAFs drink more fuel as they get older, but they're cheaper to buy. Scanias, he said, ain't really up to much unless you get into the tractor units. That's his take on it. I started looking for Mercs. I've got to be honest with you, the other problem you're facing is a selection. There's, for every one potential Merc truck, there's got to be 5 DAFs. So, but I'm going to keep my eye out. I've got plenty of time to look until the lockdown finishes. So in the meantime, we'll just see how we go with that one. Re-showers. There was a couple of one of you guys said, what about trying to find showers? Struggling when you're tramping somewhere to get cleaned up. Steve Campbell, he said, I carry a shower in the back of my van. It's a 20 litre solar shower, and it's got a 240 volt heater with a 12 volt water pump. It hangs on the back doors. I know my mate Clive, who actually was one of the guys who looks after Alice, who services the truck. He used to do these Land Rover drives across the desert, and he did these Land Rover across the desert. He said we'd hang it on the back of the Land Rover, because you can't, you're in the desert for like days on end. Some of these deserts take a week to cross apparently. So that's one idea. Another one, Harper Valentine also says, hello Nick, how you doing, mate? He's done the t-shirt thing as well. He says, check out the Canal and Rivers Trust website. Public showers are available, and also places to tip your weight. I presume they're for people in narrowboats. He's always fancied a narrowboat, I know that. So that's another potential where you can go to get showers. The one I think is, to me, the most obvious solution is like leisure centres. You either join a gym, which means when you park the truck up, you can get yourself a bit of exercise and you can get yourself cleaned, and you join one of those, your David Lloyd's or your Anywhere Fitness and all that. Again, with a lockdown, not so easy. Or the other one is town leisure centres. Go to the leisure centre, sort of pay and have a swim, get cleaned up afterwards. The problem you've got is where you're going to park a truck near a leisure centre. It's just not really that you happen to find a leisure centre that's got an industrial estate next door. Everyone's a winner, baby. But yeah, how that'll come across, I don't know. I forget who told me this one. Sorry, I didn't write your name down. Apparently, if you want to use a truck, CPC is not required to hire a truck for private use. So once again, if you want, as long as you've got your granddad rights on your licence, if you want to use a truck to move house, you can rent it from B Hire, get it down the house, get everything loaded up, get back and take the truck back. But if you want to start running it like commercial like we are, then you've got to get involved. That seems to be the word on the street with that one. C11 Yans back on the scene. Hello, mate. I know Fran's has been doing a lot of work for him this week. They kind of speak to each other on some Facebook thing. Sorry. But usual mugs in the dishwasher. He reckons, and here's his professional opinion, and he is a professional, 18-tonne owner-driver must earn 30 to 35% more than a Luton. So those questions saying, will you make more money in a truck than you will in a Luton? It looks like you probably would make about a third as much again, or maybe half as much again, once you take all your costs into consideration. So bear that in mind if you're thinking of the switch. It is more dough, but it is more aggro. So at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Terry Shute says, again on how much money you can make in a lorry. He's delivering tarmac. He says his boss reckons the truck makes about $4 to $4.50 a day. That sounds about right. That's what it brings in as a gross. And out of that, you've got to take out his wages, the lorry payment, the yard payment. The boss makes a bit, the truck makes a bit. So there is dough in them, but it's, there's also dough in Lutons, there's also dough in vans. Like I say, I personally still think, unless you're going to get proper involved like we wanted to and try and launch a fleet of lorries, Luton, Curtinside Tail is still the best way forward, just if you want to be an owner-driver. If you want to get involved, that's a different kettle of fish, Lee Allen would still rather drive a 7.5 tonne. So would I. Still like them. That's the other reason I've done it. I just like trucks. I like driving trucks. They're fun. You sit up higher, things get out of your way. What to say when you turn up on site? Right, well, I love this actually. This did make me smile. This is Lewis ASP6. Says, what I usually say is, the shipper you're using found me on the CX, me and my nasty rusty Sprinter on the CX. They tell you they've got a fleet of vans, but actually it's a computer in their bedroom. Out of the £150 you're paying for me to deliver this, I get 30 quid in 2 months, once I've reminded him twice. Which he then replies, you haven't sent your POD, can you post it again somehow, despite the fact you've already got access to it on your computer? That covers most situations. Mate, I love that. Yeah, don't do that. You won't get a lot of good feedback, but it did make me smile. Yeah, no, basically just turn up. There's a video out there, just turn up, say you're from them, you're a freight forwarder, what do you call it? You are on behalf of the company. Right, I did a video on the magic job, because I used to do a little bit of magic. In fact, they used to call me the Mighty Mystic. Here's Mystic. That was a bit rubbish. Yeah, so was I, which is basically why I decided to pack it in. Van on the run. He said, I've had a few jobs like that, where they just disappear completely. He says, yeah, he's right with this one, especially when you're picked up in a quiet area. Because you think, oh, that's a job going to take me home, and then it disappears. He said, that's why I'm not greedy. And if I've got if there's little competition in a quiet area, I quote cheaper to make sure I get it. I would say in a situation like that is definitely ring the shipper. Because, I know I've had Al has done it before, and he said, look, you've got a job coming out of here, it's a small van job. I'm in a Luton van, I want £1.10 a mile because I'm in a Luton van, and let's face it, if you don't book me, this ain't coming off. And they normally, a lot of the time, if they've got the money on the job, they'll go, yeah, okay, fair enough, Be aware that if you're in a poor area, and you put a scan on, there's no vans around you, and the job comes up, even if it shoots you down to the ground, I'd hold the line. I'd quote them real money, even over the odds, because you're the only man there. You are the guy, It's your lucky day, if you like, but, each to their own. Chris C. Yeah, been that. Did my usual trick of finishing the job, parking in Tesco, went to get lunch, one pings up, so I gave them good rates. And they said, I've just got to talk to the customer. Been right. I will definitely ring you right back. Yeah, they said they called a customer 15 minutes later, the job disappeared. I think when they turn around and they say, right, I'm going to hang on to the customer. Can you hang on for half an hour? I think the suitable situation is say, in the nicest possible way, no. Because if I say yes, I can hang on for half an hour, and then a job pings up in 5 minutes' time, which also suits me down to the ground, I can't take it because I said I can hang on for half an hour. But if I hang on for half an hour and you ring me back and say, yeah, sorry, it's not going ahead. So I think the situation is, again, opinions please, I think the job is not there until it's actually booked, actually sent through and actually appeared. Well, if they turn around and say, I'm booking you, then if another one came in, you'd ring them up and say, yeah, you said you booked me, it hasn't appeared on the CX yet. Can you make it appear on the CX, please? Because otherwise, what am I going to do about this other one? But I don't, when they say, can you hang around? I think we're in our rights to say, no, I can't hang around. If you want me, book me. If you don't want me, or you're not sure, then I'm going to carry on looking. Okay, thoughts on that one, please? Steve SD Serve said, oh yeah, this is on the magic job again. He says he looks like odd job on Slimfast. Yeah, I'll take that. Thanks very much. And Bob Keane says looks like Bradford and Bingley's love child. Showing your age there, mate. Mind you say I might, because I remember him. So there we go. Good advert. Mark Lachlan, he said, I used to think it was something I said. Now I give them 10 minutes and I say I'm not available. Again, don't even give them 10 minutes. You say, if they turn around and say, I'm going to quote the customer, I say, that's absolutely fine. But you've got to bear in mind, until you get back to me, until I'm booked, I'm going to count it and say, I'm not being nasty, not being funny, but your customer might say in 15 minutes time, it's not coming in, and in which case, I've lost a job. So I'm going to go. Or say nothing. So I'm going to quote my customer and go, okay. And then when they ring you back in 20 minutes, you say, that job's a goer. You go, yeah, I'm not available now, sorry. Again, thoughts. Dolly Dalton, also a comment on this one. He said what he hates is the late payment. He says, on the when you ring them up and you go, right, okay, the payment was due like last week, and they go, yeah, you're on the check run this Friday. No, it was due, 7 days ago. You're 7 days late already. Don't tell me I'm on your check run. What you can do, actually, late payment of invoices will be charged at 20% extra. You can do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You get a struggle and pain. I think the best thing you can do is have someone in the office who, the second they're over a day, he just rings up and shouts at them. Gemma rings up and goes, nope, but he doesn't shout at them. She's very firm. Nope, we're not having that. You're paying now. So she seems to do it. I don't know how. She's very good. Yeah, and as Dolly Dalton says, you wouldn't do that in Tesco's, would you? Put all your shopping on the conveyor belt and it all runs through and they go, right, that's £79.50, please. Yeah, I'll just give you that next week. Life on the CX, what can I say? Right, we're on to the miscellaneous now. Glue Eugen says, had a nightmare job. He said, because not everyone's a winner. Look, I've actually done your video. I'll probably bring it out next week, basically saying what happened, just to try to even the balance for anyone who thinks it's joining the CX, it's the gold at the end of the rainbow. Nope, it's not bad, but it's not, it is what it is. But yeah, there's one going out on that next week, mate. I feel your pain, sorry. Jake Lowther, which van insurance is best? I use BCD. I get paid if you use them. Please give them a look in. At the end of the day, do the compare the market, check everybody out. The best insurance is probably, I've done this video a million times before, but you want either light haulage and hire and reward and goods in transit insurance. Light haulage if it's much cheaper than the hire and reward if there's not a difference between the two. But there's videos on the channel, plenty on that, type in van insurance. I've probably done 3 in the past. Addy the Real Slim Shady. Amazon Flex is for 40 years parcels. This is if you want to run as a courier, but you don't want a van. You can do it in a car. They don't pay your fuel, but they do cover your insurance, I believe, and it's kind of a part-time gig. 40 years parcels, I don't know what they pay. Probably around about 25 quid. On Amazon, I guess, but I don't know, might be a bit more. Anyone who knows better, please let me know. Van on the run. Less haste, more speed. He said, I was a bit of a headless chicken at first. He said, and now I'm much more relaxed and much more likely to spot issues. He said, if you can get a chance, check their paperwork. Make sure it's right. When they give you, say, hang on a second. It says that I've got to have 24 boxes here on the paperwork. You've just given me 13. Oh, there's another 9 over here. You can save yourself a load of aggravation if you just spend 5 minutes at the collection point. Just to make sure that everything's bang on before you go and you cover yourself. Louis Murphy, this is on, thanks for the videos. My pleasure, my friend. Shock Arrow. Regarding cars, contract courier firms, this is another one coming back to if you want to, in a car and you want to run. He says contact local courier firms directly. Some are open to cars, but their rates are lower than small van. Again, so you probably ain't going to get a fortune for it, but if there's courier firms around you, it might be worth ringing the transport office and going, look, I fancy doing a little bit of small parcel delivery, what have you got? They'll say yes or no. TG Weege, do you put anything on your profile reloading time? Again, I've done a video for you, mate. Yeah, because I noticed I haven't actually got a dedicated video to loading time and waiting time. I've recorded it, it'll go out as soon as I get around to it. Harry Adams. He's going into the CX with a Luton and a tail. He's going on the CX with a Luton and a tail lift. Do I need a panic truck? You don't need a panic truck, but it would benefit you massively to have one, because you're 9/10 of the way there. You've got everything you need for delivering pallets, and if it comes up, I mean, a lot of the time you could theoretically use their panic truck to put the pallet on, get to the other side, use their panic truck to get it off. But if you use their pallet truck to get the pallet on, you get to the other side, it's a residential address, and you turn around and go, you've got a pallet truck? No, why would I have a pallet truck? You have to handball the whole thing off. So for the sake of 50, 60 quid on eBay for a second-hand pallet truck, definitely, you don't have to have one, but I would strongly recommend you get one. Sam Howell, are you expecting a downturn in the CX lockdown during the new lockdown? I think you might lose a little bit, but I don't think it'll be, because he's thinking of joining. I think you might lose a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be anything like last time. Construction is still open. Although the shops are shut, a lot of other stuff is running. They have said, if you can't work from home, you've got to go to work. The one thing I did notice, I had a job on Friday. I had a really good job coming back on Thursday, which had to be dropped off in Colchester. Got mega money for that because it was 237 miles, long story. And then on Friday, I got a job picking up 10 Dutch flour trays. And I went to the first electric petrol station. So it's an electoral station. It's not an electoral station, that's where you vote. It's a refuel station or an energy station. It's called Grid something or other, and it's in Braintree in Essex. And I've done a video, only a short one. And this video, the lady came up, she said, was you videoing? I went, no. She said, yes, you were, I just seen you. I went, yeah, I was. Why did I lie? And she went right the other way. She wasn't happy at all. I mean, I managed to sort her out near the end. I explained the situation, said, I've got this channel. And I said, I tell you what, love, you see that in front of you? I'm going to delete that. It's gone. It will never appear. She said, yeah, but it's on your deleted files on your phone. I mean, if you can show me how to get it off my deleted files on my phone, I'm more than happy. So it will never go out. But this place was really impressive. One question I have got is like, how long does it take to fill one of them electric cars up? So you bring it in, you park it in, petrol, you're there for 2 minutes, go inside, paper fags, Yorkie bar, off you go, With this one, you plug it in for 20 minutes. What do you do, sit and read a book? Maybe they fill up really quickly now, I don't know. I would have asked the question, but she didn't seem very receptive. She was all right near the end, in fairness, I'll give her my card with my number on and said, look, if you ever see anything that you don't like, just give me a ring, but it's not going to happen. Oh well. Still impressive place. So where was we? Do I expect it's going to be much of a turn down? No, not really. And that was the one that was coming back to me. So, although then this job took me right the way down to Brighton. I was in Brighton about 2 o'clock, and I'm thinking, I'm going home. It's taken me 3 hours to get home. I've hit my driving time. It's Friday night, and as usual, it's a running gag that every Friday I end up in Slough, because Friday afternoon in Slough around the M25 is a nightmare. Absolutely sailed it. It was like 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning. So the one advantage we might have, I don't think jobs will slow down much, but I do think the driving might get easier, which is always a boon. I know driving through London in the lockdown last time was like driving through a village on a Sunday morning, but I don't think it's going to be like that. Luke Thomas on Road Warrior. How can you share a route with another driver? Don't know, I've never done it. So if anyone out there is using Road Warrior, we've done a video on that. It's a good little thing for plotting your multi-drops. If you've got to do a route and then your mate's got to do a route tomorrow, anyone know how to share it, please let me know. Tifioso Cornwall says, if a job came out of Cornwall or came up to Cornwall or Inverness, would you take it knowing you're not likely with a lockdown to get a job back? Well, to be honest with you, without the lockdown, I'm not likely to get a job back. Inverness, yes. Cornwall, not so much. What I would always do in those situations is I would price the job, and I've said this before, I make them an offer I can't refuse. Not an offer, like the Matthews make, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. I make them an offer I can't refuse, which I would price the job so highly, I'd basically take into account miles there, maybe miles back at half money, then stay overnight. But they'll say yes or no. Chances are they'll say no because someone else will be going that way. But if they say no, I'm happy because I didn't want it anyway. If they say yes, I'm happy because I'm getting well paid for it. That's the size of things. Mark Helson, what is high mileage in a Luton? I would say, and this is only my personal opinion, in Transits, Renaults, normal Lutons, 250,000 miles, in a Merc, 300,000 miles, maybe a VW 300,000 miles. Although Daniel, my transport manager, super duper Daniel, he said I've known Mercedes that have done 650,000 miles on the first engine. If it's well maintained, if you can get it on lowish miles, have the oil changed every 10,000 miles, every 12,000 miles if you're doing motorway driving, filters regularly, look after it, keep on top of it, it should last you. But I think you're going to start getting trouble with your injectors around about 250, 300,000. Basically, at the end of the day, you do the best you can, don't you? RPAD. How important is it to have a tail on an 18-tonne? Do you get asked for a pump truck? And are there many Arctic jobs on the CX? Arctic jobs we're looking into. Don't know, it's still a long way off. I would say that, in my opinion, the best one to have is you really want double curtain side, as always. Again with Luton, you want double curtain side with a tail lift. Same on a 7.5, same on an 18-tonne, but with the 7.5 and an 18-tonne, get the D-Holland tuck under tail lift or any tuck under tail lift, because if you get the ones that are stuck on the back, they won't go on a door. So if you turn up at a distribution centre and they go, right, bay 7, and you go, can't go on a bay, not unless I put the tail lift down and back up to a bay. Oh no, can't do that. No, would it go that? No, in that case you're going to have that forked off, and then you could be waiting ages. So mind you, having said that, when you get put on a door, you can be waiting ages. That's just par for the course. I tend to sit down and write questions for Sunday Q&A. But that, my advice is, yes, get yourself a panic truck. You've done all the money, you may as well get yourself a panic truck. Double curtain side, they're easy to come by. A lot of them are double curtain side, tuck under tail. And finally, the conclusion with coming back to it, the gardening channel with Ray. Like I say, check him out. Seems like a nice bloke. He said, read the wrong loads. We did one on the wrong load. I was driving a taxi once. I got halfway away from the airport and realised I got the wrong passenger and had to go back. That's unlucky, isn't it? Bless him, he does much better with seats. That's it. Sunday Q&A, as always. Hope you're all well. There's a load. I've done a few already. Ready to go out next week, basically CX orientated. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. Take money.